Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Nationwide News understands that a 14-year-old girl was chopped to death in St. Thomas on Wednesday. Sources say the dead teen is a U.S. citizen. She's been identified as Tiana Sutherland. Tiana was reportedly found with multiple stab and chop wounds in a community in Morant Bay. She was pronounced dead at Princess Margaret Hospital. It's understood a man who is believed to be responsible for the teen's death was shot dead by the police hours later. Nationwide News says, sources say a blood trail led the police to a premises where a man was observed. Personal effects belonging to the slain teenager, including items of clothing, jewelry, and a mobile phone, were found at the premises. On seeing the police team, the man reportedly drew a weapon, and during the alleged confrontation which followed, he was reportedly shot dead. There was a slight downturn in aviation traffic to the island in 2024. That's according to President and the CEO of the Airports Authority of Jamaica, Audley Diedrich.
The year 2023 delivered a remarkable performance of recovery, with Jamaica posting total traffic for 2023 of 7 million passengers versus 6.5 million passengers in 2019. That represents a recovery of 7% versus 2019 traffic level. The remarkable traffic growth and recovery posted for 2023 was expected to continue into 2024. However, the year 2024 has seen a pause in traffic growth compared to 2023, with Jamaica's total traffic for 2024 rounding off at 6.8 million passengers and represents a slight downturn of 2%.
Diedrich was speaking at a virtual forum on Wednesday put on by MBJ Airports Limited, the operators of Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay, St. James. He noted that aviation traffic volume is expected to rebound in 2026.
The slump in our aviation traffic continues into 2025 versus 2024, where the results for the year-to-date May 2025 now shows an overall decline of 2%, driven by a 6% decline in SIA. But importantly, NMIA recorded growth of 9% year-to-date. Notwithstanding the downturn recorded for 2025, Jamaica's aviation traffic is expected to rebound, driven by tourism traffic growth. Hence, a projection of 6.9 million passengers for 2025 is still being held, and we expect that by 2028 we should be at 7.7 million passengers.
Audley Diedrich, President and the CEO of the Airports Authority of Jamaica. There was an increase in the number of passengers who traveled to Jamaica via Sangster International Airport in 2024. That's according to the CEO of MBJ Airports Limited, Shane Monroe.
Passenger volume for 2025 is just about 5.3% compared to 2024. The latest figures that I just mentioned are up to June, which we received this morning. Whilst we see that we started the year at minus 7.5%, we are seeing a gradual recovery as we head towards the summer. We're down to minus 2.1% up to May.
Monroe says several factors have contributed to fluctuating passenger arrival numbers at the Western-based airport.
Of course, impacted by wider economic and industrial factors, delays in aircraft delivery, inflation, some cooling of pent-up demand. However, positive news is changes in the travel advisory and also announcements made by various airline partners about additional service to be added to Jamaica for the summer and winter season.
Shane Monroe, CEO of MBJ Airports Limited, he was speaking at a virtual forum put on by MBJ Airports on Wednesday. Tourism Minister Ed Bartlett says legislation is coming to promote the increased use of local goods and services in the hospitality sector. Speaking at the annual general meeting of the Jamaica Hotel and the Tourist Association on the weekend, Minister Bartlett says the legislation would form part of the ministry's Local First initiative. The initiative will offer incentives to ensure increased participation of Jamaican manufacturers, farmers and creatives, along with professionals in the tourism supply chain. He says the ministry is undertaking a study to determine how how much goods and services local producers are able to supply. This, he says, is to determine the level of demand local markets can meet and identify the areas that will require foreign investment. The initiative builds on the Agri-Linkages Exchange online platform, which connects local farmers with hotels, restaurants, and other tourism-linked buyers. The ministry says the platform has helped to reduce spoilage, cut imports, and boost rural income, with farmers earning over $100,000 in the first 4 months of the year through the platform. It also highlighted that the platform has led to a 40% tourism dollar retention. Local manufacturer Jamaican Teas is again raising concern about the impact of electricity theft on the cost of the utility. Company CEO John Mahfood was reacting to the government's announcement that it will not renew the existing JPS license when it expires in 2027.
The cost of electricity is made up by the cost of producing the electricity, the cost of distribution of the electricity, the taxes that are charged by the government on the oil, and of course theft. So some of this is in the control of JPS, that is the distribution cost, where they are about 12 cents per kilowatt hour, which is again double what other countries are charging. So we have to get the cost of distribution from JPS down from 12, 13 cents a kilowatt hour down to 6. We have to get the cost of theft down. That is 20% of the cost of our electricity.
John Mahfood, CEO of Jamaican Teas. The Energy Minister, Darrell Vaz, in announcing the government's decision on Tuesday, labelled the existing JPS license as deeply flawed. He said it has not served the country well, as it does not allow the government to incorporate renewable energy into the national grid at a satisfactory level. According to Minister Vaz, this is necessary to lower energy prices. President of the Jamaica Hotel and the Tourist Association, Christopher Jarrett, agrees. He is urging the government to consider offering concessions for renewable energy sources to tourism sector players.
We would want to see, as I think the argument is being posited here, to look at some concessions for renewables. In fact, I spoke recently today with DBJ in an effort to determine from them whether they are suited to assist in that space, and they are funny enough, right now looking at financing packages that will facilitate loans for renewables. So I think that's the direction that we need to be going in, and that is a major effect on the tourism sector, as you heard me talk about earlier.
Christopher Jarrett, president of the JHTA. Both men were speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Wednesday. Meanwhile, the CEO of Fosterich, Cecil Foster, says permitting companies to implement microgrids to power their businesses could be another element of any new electricity supply license.
There could be a separation of the operations and distribution, so or the production of the energy and the distribution, and that would possibly help to reduce cost because you have competition in the market. Also, it is very important for going forward for the policy to allow for microgrid. It means, therefore, that you might have a housing development or you have your manufacturing plant. You can build a small 2 or 5 megawatt plant to supply your needs if you think you can manage the management of it and also maintain the structure of the plant that you're going to be building. And so those are some of the things.
Cecil Foster, CEO of Fosterich, speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Wednesday. Chairman of the Pharmacy Council of Jamaica, Dr. Ernestine Watson, is warning that unregulated sexual enhancement products pose serious health risks and could result in prolonged illness or even death. Dr. Watson's comment comes in the light of a recent advisory from the Ministry of Health and Wellness cautioning the public against purchasing or using 3 specific products: Black Bull Extreme, Erectimax, and Royal Honey.
Persons can take these products and they go into cardiac arrest immediately, or they have heart failure, they have kidney failure, and there are health warnings, just like how there are health warnings against cigarette smoking and alcohol. So yes, you have a choice, but the role of the government and the role of the authorities is to protect you from the choices that you would make that will in the long term have a horrible effect on not just you but on society. It's going to cost more for the government to take care of all of these cardiac arrest or whatever that is taking place, right? The liver disease. Another big problem is that some of these things they cause kidney failure and liver disease.
According to the Health Ministry, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has confirmed through laboratory testing that the products are being falsely advertised as natural dietary supplements. Dr. Watts notes that the sale or possession of such unregulated items is a chargeable offense.
The government has not approved it to be on the market. So if it is on the market, it's illegal. So anyone selling it can be charged. Anyone who participates under the law, they can be charged because it is not supposed to be sold. However, the internet and the ways of means of trading is so wide that it becomes very difficult for you to police everything. And that's why we encourage persons to purchase your drugs and health products from licensed, registered places. That way you're one step ahead of protecting yourself.
Dr. Ernestine Watson, chairman of the Pharmacy Council of Jamaica, she was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Wednesday. The government will soon roll out phase 2 of its public sector transformation program. That's according to the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Favour Williams.
We're now in the final stages of approval for the next phase, and I'm excited about what it represents. The new chapter will accelerate digitization to improve accessibility, efficiency, and transparency. It will build capacity within the public service so our officers are equipped for the 21st century challenges. It will drive results by embedding performance, accountability, and citizen experience at the heart of public service delivery.
Favour Williams, the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, she was speaking at the launch of the change management methodology for the public sector on Wednesday. An item of regional news now. Former governor of the Central Bank of TNT, Dr. Alvin Hilaire, has signaled his intention to sue the state for wrongful dismissal. That's according to a story in the Trinidad Guardian, which received a WhatsApp message from Dr. Hilaire confirming his intention. He says his lawyers issued a pre-action protocol letter to Cabinet on Wednesday. He says the letter concerns his wrongful termination as governor. Hilaire's appointment was revoked on June 24. The government has declined to give reasons for the termination. However, it is believed to be related to Hilaire's refusal to divulge information about the top users of foreign exchange in the country. His dismissal draws parallels to the 2015 termination of the job of Juala Rambaran. Rambaran was awarded $7.5 million TT after winning a wrongful dismissal case against the state. Further afield, Donald Trump's huge budget bill is headed for a final vote in the U.S. House of Representatives. The plan, which Trump calls the Big Beautiful Bill, has been held up in Congress over concerns about the impact on national debt and health care. But in the early hours of Thursday, Republican rebels fell in line. Trump wants the bill signed by July 4 when the U.S. celebrates Independence Day. The Senate, which like the lower chamber is controlled by the Republican Party, passed the bill on Tuesday with Vice President J.D. Vance casting the tie-breaking vote. That's the news.